Sanje chudai tsoji chonai lai janchui padui tane japsui che Sanje jesoi jebe sonai je rolai penje sanje drobai sho. May all mother sentient beings and limitless of space have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never may they rest equanimity free from. May all mother sentient beings, limitless of space, have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that free from suffering. May they rest free from attachment. And Gada Nyambe Senjen Danje Dewa Dan Dewe Judan Demba Yoje Dongan Dan Dongan Je Judan Dewa Yoje Dongan Membe Dewa Dan Mendewa Yoje Nere chadai nyendai tewe tanyon lai nembai yoiche. Not this, forget about the seven lamb. Go to the next page.
Protectors of all sentient beings.
No, next page. Next page. Namo to the Guru, the complete purity of the phenomena existence. I offer phenomena existing arising within the ground. I pray that the three realms of the completely liberated gain the blessing that from the path samsara be uprooted. You are victorious, wishfully jewel. Your victorious mind is beyond the word, thought, and description. You possess the five all-knowing wisdom. You, the essence of the love endowed with the confidence, the precious protector of a being. I supplicate you within the natural state of my mind. Please bless me within the state of the reality itself. Please bless me to realize the complete purity of a permanently non-arising mind beyond thought as a dharmakai. Namo nase nanda ye lama lai nase sheshen soy chebai bu kan soy yon so wai de ko wai don zhuo soy chen jie lo jie ye xie non boi su jie jie ma sai zhi mei jie wei tu ken bei yi xie ngan dan de zhe wei dan ye ga zhen jie zhou wai jian zhe ren boi jie da xin nian jie ngan de so wen de qu nian jie ngan dui jin jie lo sen de ne jie me nan da de lon de zhu grui do bai jin jie lo 我们去见接不长的，都是三界关键我年，让在这个我说的这把，这位那么那国家在，特别多这世界人所中，世界面都对接不着吧，世界龙包的不接别国，世界做的两国家在。这没我是都接见过多，嘛这世界我不知道我，但这是把关键就接。 人民这工人经国家在世界看了介绍经过间这不活动对接来了，各位等把国内现在把各局人不去了国家在我们到处世界他解决了就说中华经济了都说去了都龙华经济了都说。 Lan Juba Zawa Jinja Labdos, Juba Yishu Sajawa Jinja Labdos, Nujiji de Bandela Mazola Jabso, Chiji Sinjal Hadala Mazola Jabso. Nasa Bandela Mazola Jabso, Tobe Dajua Jinja Labdos, Tojishan Rua Jinja Labdos, and the Zetunda Damba Jinja Labdos, Chaja Jimbe, Jojangondo, Sendiniana Doba Jinja Labdos, Sanja Gundo, Savala Malay, Kuzungova Jimbe Chazalon, the Melano Rawan Shabat, Sedan Juba Nyamba Jinjelo. Good morning. Today we go through there's called the prayer.
Доброе утро.
Oh, what is happening?
Прочитаем молитву Бардо.
Oh, I thought I made him interpreter. So, oh, I make different one. Sorry. Okay, we have here what called the technical problem.
У нас сейчас технические проблемы некоторые.
Is my what called? Okay, now it's better. So generally, I think longest we are born, and we are born, we have to accept that we will die. We have to accept, and not just only accept, we have to prepare for that. Lots of people don't want to think about that. I'm not sure that's a really, healthy to do that, or healthy, or how to say, a wise choice about just try to avoiding about the thinking about that. It's just a reality, part of the reality. And also lots of people have this fear about when talking about the death, it means that losing everything. Actually, death is a process of a journey, It's not really death. There's not such things called the death as a gone everything. You just moving on. Like when you have an old clothes, you just move on, buy new clothes. Then the same we say, we have an old body, then move on, then buy new body. But that getting new one is depend on what you have done when you are alive. Make sense? In this life, what you have done, it depend on that. Then that is your wealth of what kind of a body you will get the next one. Like I was watching one time, there was a documentary in one old guy in Ladakh, and somebody asking him, "What's your final wish?" And he said, "I'm too old now. I have only wish is that death will come soon." And that Westerner really shocked, because most of people try to stay longest they can. They try to hold there longest they can, even they are like a totally kind of like a paralyzed. Still they try to hold on. He is walking, talking. He's a healthy old man. He said, "I only have one wish, and it's a death." Then he asked another one, young guy, "Are you afraid of the death?" And then he said, "No, I'm not afraid of the death." And he said, "Why?" "Because I haven't done anything wrong." So if you haven't done anything wrong, if you haven't done anything bad, karma, then you don't have to worry about the death. So like when you hear the police siren, yeah, if you have done something wrong, even it's not coming to you, it make you fear. It make you worry. But you haven't done anything wrong, then even it come to near your house, you're not going to have worry anything. It's not coming to you, for you, yeah. So I think similarly, this is death itself is not scary. Scary is like what kind of a birth we will have. So that reason we have to prepare. And this preparation is lots of people think you can prepare that around the time of the death or in the bardo or in the through the poor or something, it will help you to liberate it. It's really difficult to say that will help you to liberate it. So that preparation is have to do now when you're healthy. Yeah, when you are healthy, you have to make the preparation, and then when actually it comes, you know how to handle that without worrying, and you will handle well and go, right direction. So I think this reason, thinking about the impermanent, generally for turning of the mind, and particularly impermanent, really help us to that preparation of the when that actually comes, when death is actually come. And lots of people have this thought about, oh, I'm still young, I don't have to worry about that. My time, I have lots of time. It's not sure we will have that lots of time. Lots of parents doing the funeral for their children. So time of the death is not have a certainty. So that reason, if you look the 12 link of interdependent, it's come two together. Aging and death, they're not separate, because it's not guaranteed to everyone will age. Make sense? Everyone will age. So we don't have, if we can age, we can get chance to retire, we can turn our hair to gray. That's wonderful. That means you live full life. So we're not really sure it's going to happen or not. So that reason, there's nothing wrong with preparing from the ahead about that. So that reason, when we're talking about this topic like bardo teachings, this is talking about that after the death. So there's two different type of a bardo. One is called the 6 bardo. One is talking about the 3 bardo. 4 sometimes is a 4, but basically there's a 3. So according to the in the Kagyu, there's a two tradition, I can say. In the Kagyu tradition, there's a 2 kind of source of bardo teachings. One is called the sepho. Sepho is called the mixing and transference. It's a practice of the six yoga of Naroba. So according to the sepho, bardo divided into the 6 bardo. So if you look the Milareba's Wajar song to the Tsirima, and in the 100,000 song related to the chapter Tsirima, in the end of the chapter, there's a Milareba sing this song called the 6 bardo. So that is based on the origin of what called based on the practice of mixing and transference. In the Tibetan, it's called the sepho, sewa and po, which is mainly teaching of the six yoga of Naroba. Then this prayer is based on it's called the sometimes it's called the hearing lineage. Yeah. I think there's a few different words for using this one. Sometimes called the oral transmission, oral lineage. Sometimes it's just kind of the Guinness hearing lineage. So according to that teachings, and bardo divided into 3. So this is just, but mainly when talking about the 6 bardo, basically everything is a bardo. Bardo means the intermediate. Everything have intermediate. So how to liberate from that? So it means that everything we have a dualistic, basically. Yeah, everything have a dualistic conceptual. Like it's called the Korde Bardo, for example. Korwa means the samsara, Nyande means the nirvana. Bardo of samsara and nirvana mean that there's a division. That way there's a samsara and nirvana, two dualistic. Yeah. So the Korde Bardo means how to liberating from that one is you have to eliminate the gap of the samsara and nirvana. When it become a non-duality, and you eliminate it, this dualistic conceptual. So then you liberate it through that bardo. You know, so I think each one have their own can say false, you know, related to the samsara. Each one have their own false. So how to liberate from that false, basically. So overall, this is a as I think I mentioned this one time, you know, when it comes to the Buddhism, our goal is a reach to the non-duality. Make sense? Reach to the non-duality. Why? Because as long as we have a dualistic mind, we are occupied with a conceptual thought. Long as with a conceptual thought, it's always be created negative karma. Through the conceptual thought, then you have those all, sometimes through the conceptual thought, good way, you can have attachment. Through the conceptual thought about bad way, you have an aversion. And this good thought and bad thought, whatever come, based on the delusion. Why? Because as long as we have this dualistic mind, our mind is based on the delusion. All the thought arise through the dualistic mind always be based on the delusion. So, and then that delusion have some are good delusion, some are bad delusion. You know, so we will talk later. So I think something like that. That way eliminated. And so here this prayer with the prayer we are try to where to get to the this eliminations. So main topic of the bardo teachings really is the existent bardo, the Siba bardo, you know, that which is the between the death and birth. That is the main practice. And then for that topic, you need to talk about the before the death and after, I mean, before the bardo and after the bardo. So that way there's a three type of a bardo topic come here. So first we go to with this prayer called the Namo Mahamudrayas. Namo means that pay homage. This is basically paying respect physically, you know, physically, verbally pay respect. Pay homage to whom is a Mahamudra. So mudra, this is a Tibetan word, translate as a chakya. We call that chakya chambo, you know, chakya. So mudra, this word, it can be described as a chak, it can be described as a ya, can be described as a together. So basically, chak means the hand. Whatever put on your hand in your palm, you see clearly that, yeah. So it means that that's the reality. When you see the direct realization of the reality of the suchness, it's like a treasure is get into your hand. Yeah, one. And it ya means the seal. All the phenomena are sealed by these two wisdom and method, or you can say relative and absolute. They are nothing beyond those two. So in the Tantra, they call the evam. Is a everything is a within this two syllable. So similarly, nothing is beyond that. So meaning is a nothing, no phenomena are beyond that absolute. So sealed by that, like when old time royal have a seal, whole kingdom under the seal. Make sense? So similarly, every phenomena are under that seal. What is that seal? Is a absolute nature. So that way, this is a today we don't have that much time, so I don't want to go to too detail, and also my knowledge is not that great to try to go to too detail on that. But that is the meaning of the Mahamudra is a something that is a it means the inner nature, emptiness of inner nature is a seal. And all phenomena are sealed by that, and none of phenomena are beyond that seal. Make sense? So pay homage to the Mahamudra. Why here is pay homage to the Mahamudras? You see, because as I said, bardo mean not just knowledge. Bardo mean the teaching of the bardo is how to liberate from that state of unpleasant. Sometimes we call the unpleasant. Sometimes we call the unsatisfied. Because the samsara is unpleasant or unsatisfied. In the samsara, you're not going to find anywhere truly pleasure, truly pleasant, truly joyful, enjoyable. Make sense? So we need a liberator from there. How to liberate from there is through the realization of the Mahamudra. Without the realization of the Mahamudra, or you can say without the realization of the suchness, there's no other way liberated from the samsara. There's, I think, Asanga, one of the teachings said, even the compassion is not, loving kindness and compassion is not a complete antidote of the liberation. Because even that compassion and loving kindness and compassion is a kind of like a marvelous feeling of thought, but still it's a mixture with a conceptual. Long as we have that conceptual, we cannot liberate it from the samsara. So only wisdom. Many Indian master also mention about that one. Wisdom is the essential of our goal to or key to liberation. So that reason here pay homage to the Mahamudra means that through the Mahamudra practice we can eliminate it from the samsara. First is here pay homage to the, I think this is really good. Through the understand that all the phenomena are illusory. One is liberated from the impure illusions and reach to the pure enlightened body. That is a illusory body. The guide who lead illusory being we take refuge. So through the understand that all phenomena are illusory. This one is a it's not like a illusory as we see, like we have an example of illusion. Sometimes we have example of illusion like a mirror, a reflection in the mirror, reflection in the water, like a rainbow, those kind of talk as an illusion. This is not that kind of illusion. This is a talk about somebody have a direct realization of the suchness of all the phenomena, and within that realization and what called appearing of that, within that, then realizing this illusion. Make sense? So it's a much deeper. So all phenomena are that illusion, not as a impure illusion. This is pure illusion. So all phenomena are inseparable of that illusion. So what is the all phenomena? All phenomena mean grasping of the existent. Phenomena as a grasping of the existent, that is called the phenomena. And they understood that one is an illusion. It means the non-existent. Make sense? So one is liberated from the impure illusion. It's talking about this is a what kind of impure illusion is it? Even they have a realization of the suchness or emptiness at the post meditation. I mean, equipoise meditation, but at the post meditation, still they have a dualistic. The Bodhisattva, still they have a dualistic, but their dualistic and our dualistic is what different is it? Our dualistic is like a dreaming and not recognizing it is dream. Bodhisattva was a dualistic is a remembering the dream. They remember the dream, but they also know it was dreamy. So that means they're not real. So that is different. For us, it's called the grasping of the existence. That is can say impure illusion, but also is totally what called them delusion, totally delusion. But then impure illusion means that it is not real, but still they have an illusionary appearance, like a dream and can say dream and like a mirage. Yeah. So that is then reach the pure enlightened body. What is the pure enlightened body? As the called the union of what called the Vajradhara, which is the union of the emptiness and appearance, which is the inseparable of the
simultaneous manifestation of appearance and emptiness.
Yes, I couldn't say simultaneously appearance of the union of the emptiness, compassion, emptiness and wisdom, emptiness and compassion as a form of a Vajradhara, which is the Dharmakaya, called the sixth family. So that is the pure body. This is we call the Dharmakaya as a body. Three kayas. Kaya means the body. It's not physical body. It's one of the most pure body. Remember, we talk about the ornament of the Mahayana Sutra. Really self is the realization of the suchness. That kind of pure body. This is not talking about the body as our language body. Okay, so that is a pure enlightened body. That is the Dharmakaya of the Vajradhara state. His illusory body. Okay, that is the true illusion body. Now, this is not the same as we have an example of a, illusion as a illusion as a mirage or reflection. Or it's not. This is a pure illusion as a Dharmakaya, inseparable, and the guide. Or can say this illusory body, as talking about to within the Dharmakaya state, manifestation of the Rupakaya, like a Sambhogakaya and Nirvanakaya, as a manifestation of the Dharmakaya. So that is called the pure illusory body. Says the guide who lead illusory being, we take refuge. So this illusion is talking about the delusion. So, but now, if the Buddha's body is a Dharmakaya, pure illusion, how come Buddha can have a physical body manifestation? So this physical body, illusory body manifestation is through the three conditions. Buddha's commitment, or can say vow when he was Bodhisattva's path. 1, his compassion toward to the sentient being. 2, and sentient being's karma. When those come 3 together, we can see the Buddha. Yeah. So sentient being karma means the sentient being have to have someone who have a great accumulation of the merit. So when you reach to the great accumulation of the merit, you will see Buddha face to face. Yeah. So that kind of those three conditions, and Buddha elucidate, or how to say this, like a manifest, it's a form body. Elucidate.
Hallucinate?
No.
They're not hallucinating.
Elucidate, like a he like a magician apply the magic.
Manifest?
Yeah, manifest or
Illusory is the word you're looking for? No.
Or is it like projecting?
yeah.
Manifestation. He doesn't mean hallucination. Hallucination is like when you
Yeah, no.
take drugs and you see stuff.
As illusory, illusion.
So now, okay, now is it, degeneration time. We don't have a kind of like a karma to our merit is not strong to that we can see Buddha directly. So then how come those the illusory body to guide the sentient beings? So Buddha said, in the future, I will manifest a form of the teacher to liberate the sentient beings, because we don't have a karma to see Nirvana Kaya Buddha face to face directly. So that when Buddha manifests as a form of teacher, so through the teacher, so there is this reason we are taking refuge to the teacher. So gurus taking refuge to the guru, who is the embodiment of the Buddha. I think this reason basically is inseparable of the three kaya Buddha, taking refuge to the guru who guide us and liberating us from this samsara. That one. Now, second one said, yes, illusion. Protector of the being which have illusory body, may I in all sentient being misled by illusion, cease to be misled by illusion appearance, grant us the grace to recognizing the nature of an illusion. The protector of a being mean the Buddha, Bodhisattva, who make the commandment to want to protect sentient being from the suffering. So that way, protector of the being here is talking about the Buddha, especially Buddha, or so you can say your guru, which is the embodiment of the three jewels or three kayas, have illusory body. So we have illusory body. This illusory body is within the Dharma Kaya state, manifests as a Rupa Kaya. That Rupa Kaya, because the Rupa Kaya only we can contact, we can see them, Nirvana Kaya and Sambhoga Kaya. So that way, illusory body is talking about the manifestation of the Buddha's body, which is the Nirmanakaya and Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya. May I and all sentient beings mislead by illusions. So we have this 6 different type of bardo as a symbol of mislead by illusion. Because of the delusion, we have this 6 different. So-called the bardo of the samsara and nirvana, bardo of the birth and then death, bardo of the material absorption, bardo of the dreaming, bardo of the dying, and bardo of the existence. So these 6 bardo so in the simple or the mixing and transparency, the teachings, how to carry on the path to the liberation of the samsara nirvana by meditation on the Mahamudra, as it's called the Supreme Tumu meditation. Okay, through the Supreme Tumu meditation, and carry on the path of the death and birth through the practice of the Tumu and illusory body. Carry on the path of the samadhi or path. Samadhi is talking about the path. Okay, bardo of the path is a illusory body. Sorry, luminosity. Sorry, we say. Then dream bardo, carry on the path of the dream bardo as a meditation on the dream yoga. Carry on the path of the called the reverse order as a dying, as a and poor, and carry on the path of the existing bardo as a bardo instruction on the bardo teachings. So this 6 different way to we dilute it from that to through the bardo teaching to eliminating or how to say, cease to be misled by illusory appearance. So that kind of illusory appearance is seized by this like a Mahamudra and 6 yoga of Naropa. Okay. Grant us the grace to recognize the nature of illusion. So this is how what we supplicate to our Guru, recognizing recognize the nature of illusion. What is the nature of illusion? Is it luminosity of the Dharmakaya, carry on the path of the luminosity of the Dharmakaya as a nature of the illusions. So now from this, we're talking about the 3 types of a bardo. Bardo as a Dharmakaya, bardo as a Sambhogakaya, bardo as a Nirmanakaya. Being who have a capacity to realize in bardo or the Dharmakaya, they don't need to go to actually existing bardo. So I think last time when I was talking this one bardo teaching, I said 2 kind of people not need to go through the existing bardo. First one, who have a direct realization in this life, at less first bhumi, then that person will recognizing the true nature of mind to eliminate it from the going through the existing bardo. Without the going through the existing bardo, it reach to the Dharmakaya state. So that's why it's called the Dharmakaya bardo. At the time of the death, you reach. And another one is a person who commit the heinous crime. Person who commit the heinous crime, they don't have existing bardo. So that way is in the English they translate as a heinous crime, but in the Tibetan we call the no break. Some member. It means the no break of the existing bardo. The death and reborn in the lower realm is the same time. So that kind of two kind of people don't need to go through the existing bardo. Other than that, everyone go through the existing bardo. So first one, who received the instruction through the guru in this life, basically, like 6 yoga of Naropa, and particularly we have a realization or a teaching of the special tumu. Special tumu means the realization of the Mahamudra. Through the realization of the Mahamudra in this life, unless you reach to the, path of the application, maybe lowest is the path of the application, then you have good chance to realizing the true nature of a mind. Okay. So we'll talk later, it comes something like that. So that one, now first said, at the moment of the leaving this impermanent illusory body. Now, this illusory is talking about a kind of an impure, ordinary illusion. So, only who no need to die is somebody who reached to the rainbow body. Then they don't need to die. There are lots of people who reach that rainbow body. Like in the Milareva's disciple, many of them reached that one, including to the Rechumba. Milareva himself didn't reach that one because if he followed to the Marba's instruction about building that that his tower complete, and then Marba said you can have a chance to get to the rainbow body, but because of the Dame Master compassion, and he didn't finish that one. That way, he not going to get chance to reach to the rainbow body in this life. But so that way, Milareva didn't reach that rainbow body, but many of his disciples reached that rainbow body. Well knowingly like Rechumba, he reached that rainbow body. So there are many great practitioners, they reach to the rainbow body and they don't need to go through the death. So they're not dying. Other than that, long as we have this ordinary body, illusion body, deluded mind, we have to go through the death. No one can escape from that. No one can escape from the death. That is a reality. Aryadeva said, if you don't have a cause of death, you will not die. Because you have the cause of death, you will die. What is your cause of death? Is a birth. So if you don't want to die, don't burn, don't rebirth. So I think this reason we have to die, everyone, impermanent, illusory body. May we sever all the bound of the desire, aversion, and attachment. So this, there's a being who reached to the first bhumi, they don't need to serve to all this bound. But ordinary, before that, even that you are in the path of the application, still you need to serve all the bound of the desire, aversion, and attachment. Because even you have a great merit, that you accumulate the merit that can be born to the higher realm. But at the time of the death, when you have this kind of emotion, like any kind of emotion, like attachment, aversion, you have a chance to reborn in the lower realm. there's a Buddhist time, there's one monk. He attached to his begging bowl when he died. He was thinking about his begging bowl. And he was born to the snake in the begging bowl when he died. He didn't do any negative in the rest of his life. He's been good monk. But at the time of the death, he attached to the begging bowl. So that way, he was born in the snake in the begging bowl because of that attachment. So at the time of the death, thought is really powerful. Like, everybody knows King Ashok, called the Dharma Ashok. He served so much about the Dharma, but when he was dying, he was sick on the bed. Then the serving woman, she was like, cooling his body with the fan. At that time, there's no fan or air condition. So with the hand fan, So he falls asleep and the fan fall in his body. He was so upset. He said, when I was a young youth, powerful, everybody respect me. Now, even the servant girl disrespected me. He thought he had that thought, and he died with that thought, anger. At that moment, he was born in the hell. So they say it's a really powerful at the moment of the death's thought. So you have to cut that bound of the attachment, aversion, and ignorance. How to cut this bound? I think this is everybody should, when you have a sign of the death, of course you cannot wish to the death come soon. You have to try your best to try to have a long life, because this kind of human body we're not going to have continually. It's not easy to gain this kind of precious human body. So long as we have this kind of precious human body, we have to do our best to try to keep long as you can stay, long life. Do all the necessary ritual, medicine, whatever can keep you alive. Do those all. But some point, no matter what you do, your lifespan have limitation, and it will exhaust, yeah, that will exhaust of the karma, exhaust of the lifespan, exhaust of the merit. Then death will come. No one can escape. No one can protect you. Even Buddha come, he cannot protect you. At that time, what you have to do is, when that process is coming, then you have to cut the attachment. How to cut the attachment is, especially whatever you like in possession, let them go. Detach that. Let them go and give to away, to the monastic, to the poor one, to the need one. Basically, so make sure it, cut the attachment. Whatever you have, let go. And how to take bound of aversion is, if you dislike someone, if you have some hatred toward someone, make the peace with yourself, with that thought. Then how to eliminate the ignorance is a sharpness of your mind, and try to remember all the teaching what you received, all the dharma you received. Try to recollect all those teachings. So through this, through this way you have to prepare. That's how you serve the not bound of defilement. Because if keeping that thought, emotion, and it gets stronger, at the time of the death, even you are a wonderful Dharma practitioner, if you die with this emotion, you have a good chance to reborn in the lower realm. Because at the time of the death, emotion is really powerful. So you have to learn how to cut that bondage. Then people may think, oh, I will do that when time comes, and I will do that when I'm dying. But at the time of the death, actually time of the death, you have no chance to do those things. Impossible. So you have to do from now on. Try to cut much as you can. Attachment, and try to make the peace with any kind of like you have a hatred or anger, jealousy, whatever you have an emotion related to the aversion. Try to make peace with through the compassion, through the forgiveness, through the kindness heart, and try to serve the not of ignorant through by hearing, contemplating, and meditation on the wisdom. So through these two, we can what called the serve the bound of the desire, aversion, and attachments. They rest naturally in the unfabricated mind itself. So it means that you at the time of the death, actually practices you need to rest the unfabricated mind, nature state of the mind. Yeah. So what is the nature state of the mind? How to rest in the nature state of the mind is you have to eliminate all those different emotions. Like mainly we have two, grossly we have two kind of emotion, attachment or aversions. So even your ordinary person, you are really not practitioner unless try to cut off those two emotions. Aversion and attachment. And even you don't know what is the nature state of the mind, just keep the positive thought. Whatever bringing you positive thought, like thinking about your guru, thinking about the deity, thinking about the Buddha, like Amitabha or some things. When you die with that thought, you have a really good chance to reborn in the higher realm, even Pure Land. If you died with the thought of a Buddha Amitabha, you have a great chance to reborn in the Amitabha. So this one is talking about the person who practitioner, who have all the instruction, who have all the experience, who went through all the training called the practice. Yeah, then you can sit your mind in that said nature state of the mind, unfabricated. But lots of people, they don't have chance to do all the practice like those all the practice. But even you don't have a chance to practice, so anyone who die, you can help them. How to help them is try to bring their mind positive thought. Whatever make them make them happy, try to make them do that way. Lots of people saying, oh, my family such and such, they don't like Buddhism, but I secretly pray for them, Buddhist prayer when they die. I don't know that's a good idea or not. Especially that person who died, after the death and you do prayer, they will know what you do in prayer. If they don't like it when they're alive, Buddhism, I don't think so they will like that after the death. Make sense? So you don't want to make them to any condition that make them too angry or attachment. So same time, don't cry around them, don't make any noise, make them peacefully dead. And some people immediately dead, after the death, the family member, they're fighting for the property. That will make them really bad. So in Tibet, we have one joke. I think that's maybe not joke, it's really happened. One person died and they invite one High Lama. And that High Lama have also assistant. Then those two bring one a young monk and they sit in front of the dead body doing prayer for the dead body. But the Lama is thinking, okay, from this prayer, I think this family have really nice horse. That will be really good for me. I hope they offer me that one. Then that assistant thing, they have really nice zoo. Zoo is a kind of mixture of the yak and cow. I really hope they offer me that one. But that young monk, he was scared of the dead body. So he was sincerely doing prayer, you know. Then dead body stood up, said, this Lama is really wishing to be our horse. Please give him the horse. And this monk is really wishing to be our zoo. Please give him the zoo. But this is who liberated me from the, dying. So I want to offer him kata. So he offering the kata to the young monk. Because the young monk scared. When it's scared, you have no thought, you know. So I don't know, it's a real or fake, but we have this commonly talking about that story about that one. So around the death, if somebody, family member dying, also one most important is to try to make them peace. Whatever cause, make the peace, you know. So then you can cut it. You yourself can sever all the bound of the desire, aversion, attachment, or when somebody is dying, you can help them by doing that one. Okay. Then said, then grain us to be grace, thus the indicated death into the path. So how to the death indicated on the path is it? The supreme one, the death and realizing the Dharmakaya is the same. So that way Milarepa said, death means for the yogi, it means the liberation, reach to the nirvana. Then but it's some is have difficulty to recognize. I will talk about that, what kind of recognize is it will come later. But in difficulty, then go to the existent bardo, intermediate state of the existent. And that time you can also liberate it through the Sambhogakaya. Union of the wisdom, union of the appearance and emptiness. If you cannot liberate it from the Sambhogakaya, you can, what called the liberate it through the path of the Nirmanakaya to reborn in the through the birth, what called the birth bardo, third bardo was called the Nirmanakaya. So these three way to So basically, it's what is mean the how to grain as the grace. Thus, the indicated that death in the bardo is that the supreme one directly recognizing the nature of a mind to reach to the Dharmakaya, and the mediocre one through the three appearance. Three appearance. As a deities, and at less through the strong prayer to reborn in the higher realm. Okay. A strong prayer, prayer to reborn in the higher realm. So now, when at the moment of the death, external appearance cease, sight and other sense progressively cease to function. Form and other sensory object also dissolve into each other. Grain us to grace to recognizing the process of dissolution. This is talking about the nature death. Somebody who died naturally. Okay, if you have a irregular death, like an accident death or things like that, then not necessarily you will have this what called the process. But nature death one, as I said, when the moment of the death externally appearance cease, this one is a start like a week or sometimes maybe a little bit before week. slowly, process will start. Some start with maybe weeks, some start with this like 3 days, some start with the 1 days, within the 1 days. This you will see the slowly, gradually dissolution as it comes. So this basically called the 20, sometimes it's called the 20, sometimes called the 25 gross dissolutions. There's a 5 aggregate, 5 object, 5 wisdom, 5 elements, and 5 sense faculty. So this is called the 25 gross dissolution. They dissolve together like a foam. When foam dissolve, at the same time, sight of the eye, sense of eye sense. You can say eye sense, dissolve. Same time, earth element of the dissolve. And the same time, appearing of the form as a dissolve. And same time, mirror-like wisdom dissolve. So, this wisdom is the 5 wisdom is not talking about the base like a wisdom as a base wisdom. Base she wisdom mean the naturally wisdom one. It's not talking about. This is talking about a sudden can say awareness. Like for example, miru-like wisdom mean that you have awareness of the sighting, form, appearance of the form. That one is a capacity is losing. So this is all the like a form, eyesight, all those 5 dissolve to the next one. So form is dissolved to the like from the 5 aggregate, form dissolved to the perception. Form feeling. What is mean the dissolve mean the strength or capacity of the form is losing. Make sense? And that dissolve mean other one become a little bit stronger, I think. I heard this one is even we're alive. When one organ is losing, like you lose the eye, your hearing is becoming much sharper. So like a snake, they don't have an ear. Because they don't have an ear, their eyes so sensitive that through the eye, they can sense the sound. It doesn't mean that they can hear the sound from the eye, but because I think I heard this one is lots of people when losing one side of the organ or what called sense, other one is becoming stronger. So, yeah. So dissolve mean like that, that I basically dissolve mean is losing that ability of the body ability losing. Now say more get into the feeling. So think this way to body, form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. They dissolve one by one. Same thing as earth, water, fire, wind. They dissolve to the air. To the consciousness. So this some list, sometimes they come list of the 5 element, 20 gross 20 gross dissolution, sometimes come 25. So either way, this 5 form, aggregate, ayatana, element, object. Can say 5 object, yeah.
Yeah.
Form, sound, smell, taste, touch,
Mhm.
object, and wisdom.
Mhm.
So these are most of the time these are dissolved each other. So that dissolution is a start from the earlier. So from there too, you losing your for example, when your earth is a dissolved, it come later. I mean, also it's a when your form body is a form aggregate is dissolved, then your physical ability is losing. Make sense? Then you can have a taste, but then feeling is dissolved, you lose the taste. So this is a gross dissolution. So that way form and other sensory object dissolve into each other. So what is this into each other mean? That kind of like a ability of the first one is losing, and that way it's called the dissolve into each other. Okay. Sight and other sensory as a functions. Other sensory objects dissolve each other's. Grant us the grace to recognizing and the grace of the dissolutions. So some instructions saying this next one is a part of the first one, but some saying this is inner element dissolve. Outer element is already dissolved, is called the gross dissolution, so-called the subtle dissolution of the inner element. So then it is said, when earth, water, fire, wind dissolve into consciousness, physically strength slips away, thirst arising, mouth and nostril become dry, warm flu, breath become the short and labored, yeah. Labors. Grant us the grace to into the indicate the crucial servants into the path. Now this one is a earth dissolved to the water. When earth dissolved to the water, what happened is a physical strength is a slip away. It means that you lose the physical strength and you have a hard time to walking, moving, everything is becoming difficulty. When water dissolve to the fire, then you become like a mouth and a nostril, all they become a dry. I think when people die, they become like a lips dry. They kind of losing the water because the water is dissolved into the physical, our inside the body, water is dissolved. When people bring skyberry, if they died with a naturally death, you don't see the blood in their body. Liquid is not there. But people who dead with accidentally, when they cut in the body, then they lost of blood because they don't have time to dissolution, sudden death. That's what I'm noticing. So that way, when your water is dissolved to the fire, then all the inside the body liquid is a kind of like a dissolve. To the fire mean the heat is no longer liquid there. Somebody is kind of dry. It's a start from the, you can see that it's first is from the mouth, the nose, and those are. And slowly, whole skin is dry. When fire dissolved to the air, and what is the warm fluids, the body is warm, is a fluids. It's like when you high on the mirror, then the slow dissolve into the center of the mirror. Similarly, they're saying is a dissolve to the heart. And some instruction said maybe if you're going to be low realm, dissolve from the head to toe, lower. If you're going to be higher realm, dissolve from the bottom to top. But Yangwenba, one of the Drupaji master, he said, heat is a nature of the fire. The nature of the fire is always up. So he said it dissolve, mostly it's dissolved from the feet. I think when people die, I heard that the feet become a cold first.
Yep.
So from the feet to dissolve, slowly to dissolve, basically get to the heart. So it's a limb, basically limb dissolve. From the limb to come to the, until to the organ of the heart. So then that is final dissolution.
In hospices, my brother and mother were both hospice. And based on the dryness of their mouth and eyes, and that there was no wetness of any kind, one of the most experienced nurses came and told us it would be like, a few more hours because everything was now dry. And sure enough,
Yeah.
it was literally within a few hours. But yeah, she said the dryness was giving it away.
Yeah.
And then after the feed, I would check the patient, and I use it for feel the feed. And
Uh-huh.
once in a while, we go, okay, this is what maps and crazy numbers. And
Yeah. So why Yangwenba said is it always dissolved through from the low, it means from the feet, because it's a heat is the nature of the fire. Fire, what called that?
Goes up.
Goes up. So that way dissolve from the bottom, he said. Then the fire heat is dissolved through the air. Okay. Then air dissolved to the consciousness. When air dissolved to the consciousness, then it become the short and labored. It's mean the labored mean the like a long breathing and strong breathe out, but have hard time to breathe in. That one. Short breathe is basically they can breathe in and out, but the labor, this labor is in the unyo, Tibetan unyo. It means that kind of like people dying with the lack of inhale, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, like a kind of like a long breathing out and have a hard time to inhale. That one. Okay. So that is a sign of dissolution of the air dissolving to the consciousness. So this grant us to grace to integrate this crucial servancy into the path. crucial servancy. Yeah, servancy. Sometimes it's called the servancy. Sometimes it's called the interruption of life. This one, interruption of the life, basically losing the elements. It's like same as a cutting the element, you know. So and some commentators said it's mean that it's have to do the element ability is losing. So it's the same as a cutting something, you know, like what cut the water is a totally stop coming. So this continuing is a function is losing. And also in this time, you know, at that time, if you have done something, practice good, then all the Buddha and Bodhisattva, Dagini come to welcome you to the Pure Land, and you die with a smiley. You will see. And when you have done something bad, you die with a screamy, you die with a, you know, scary, and you die with a kind of a frightened. That means that you see in the your next life. So that fearsome. Make sense? Yeah. I heard when Choja Trungpa was died, I heard something like, wow, this is amazing. Something like that. His final word was. Or so, there's one word I don't remember, but it sounds like he's seeing all the, to you know, invite him to Pure Land. I don't know. I heard some word like that. So basically at that time, you know, what kind of person you are is a show that time. If you die with it peacefully, that means that you have done something good. When you die with it fearsomely, horribly, at that time, you have to be careful. So, but they're too late, actually. Oops, too late, yeah. So, but at that time, we said, what it means that when you see horrible person dying, that is the best teacher of the karma. Because they die really terrifying, with the terrifying. And when practitioner, good person, one die, and they die with a smiley, they die peacefully. Reason is they see their future is really wonderful. You know, they see the Pure Land, they see the Buddha, they see those all the Daga and Daginis, and then it makes them to really relax, peaceful. Then what happened? The consciousness said, when the consciousness dissolved into the clarity, outer breath cease. So this consciousness means that we have this that our, you know, this time I think this is talking about the it's not talking about the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, you know, that consciousness already dissolved. Like we talk about the five senses, dissolve at the gross dissolution. Now this one is this consciousness is talking about the mind itself, you know, that consciousness when it is dissolved, the clarity is this clarity is a not talking about the she was mean the ground luminosity. You know, it's not talking about the ground luminosity as a Mahamudra. It's not dissolved to the Mahamudra immediately, but it's called the subtle appearance, increasing and attainment. Nanji Topsung, that one. That's luminosity. So I will explain that later. What is that? Those three mean. So this dissolutions, outer breath is cease, and inner breath remained dissolving through the 4 stage. So this is a different. In the Abhidhamma and also Sutra, they said 1 stage, 1 instant, 1 moment in this between the outer breath stop and inner breath stop, only 1 moment. But in the Tantra said there's a 4 stage. But that's a really short stage. Okay, it's not like these 4 stages are going to be long period of time to you have time to recognize it. So this 4th stage. What is the 4th stage? Is appearance, increasing attainment, and great clarity. This 4th stage. So at that time, what is the said wind dissolved to the consciousness, and is mean that I mean consciousness dissolved to the luminosity. Is it now no longer you have this conceptual thought? Why you don't have a conceptual thought? Is because your wind element is reached to the central channel. Once your wind element is reached to the central channel, you don't have this conceptual thought about like a faculty, sense faculty. And even the mind is that mind itself is also dissolved to the clarity. I think this one is everyone have. So that way, between the death to the birth, some period of time, our wind elements stay in the central channel. Okay, so so that is what is what called clarity. So this is a clarity. It's about when consciousness dissolves into the clarity. Mean that clarity mean that talking about the subtle form of appearance, increasing and attainment. That is named as a clarity. Then what happened is a 4th stage at that time. When your inner breath is a stage, there's a 4th stage. This 4th stage is called, first one is called the appearance. What is the appearance mean? The non-conceptual luminosity. There's kind of non-conceptual luminosity. They don't have appearance of the form because it's already dissolved. Like aggregate and the ayatana and 5 object, everything is already dissolved. So this appearance is not the outer appearance. This is inner appearance. So that inner appearance is called the non-conceptual luminosity. That non-conceptual luminosity is appearance, is called the appearance. This time, wind element enter into the central channel. That appearance or the luminosity is increasing. And that is called what mean the increasing, that the luminosity increasing. Then attainment is the completely luminate. Make sense? So completely illuminate, then through that too, then you have a chance to realizing great clarity. Why is a great clarity? Why use as a great? Because there's no greater than this clarity. So people who have received the instruction, who have experienced the meditation, who have then they can reach to this stage of the Mahamudra. So this increasing, the appearance, increasing attainment, and great luminosity, these are same as a uh, path of the accumulation and a path of the application and a path of the seeing. So what called the appearance is the same as a path of the application is called the heat. Heat means the kind of sense of a fire, you can sense the fire heat. You not get the fire close to fire, but you sense the fire heat. Similarly, you have that appearance of the luminosity of the Mahamudra. This time, fire is the example. It's a realization of the Mahamudra is real. So Mahamudra is an example of the fire. When you close to the fire, you feel like heat. So appearance is like a light appearance from the fire of the Mahamudra. And increases when you get closer, the light luminosity is increased. Make sense? So that is called the path of the heat or peak. After the heat is a peak. Yeah, peak. Through the peak too, then you get the path of application is called the patient and the supreme worldly dharma. These two is called attainment. So when you went to this fourth stage of the path of the application, then you reach to the path of the seeing, which is the first bhumi. So path of the seeing is the same as a realization of your nature of mind. So you realize that the nature of mind at this time. So, but you need some degree of experience. Other way, at that time, you're not going to recognize it. I think this is everyone who dying will experience, but most they're not going to recognize what it is. Example is like when somebody is, you see the briefly, someone is walking fast, briefly you see. If you know that person, who that person is, you don't need to see the detail. You, by seeing briefly, you recognize who that person is. Yeah? Make sense? If you don't know about that person, even it's a kind of slow go, but you're not going to recognize. So like another example is if you know that what is the syllable thumb look like, if you know how to read the syllable thumb, yeah. When somebody show you the thumb, you immediately say this is thumb syllable. But if you don't know how to read them, even somebody show you the thumb syllable, you have no idea what it is. So if we not practice this life, the great luminosity of the Mahamudra, if we don't have any instruction, if we don't have any experiment on the meditation, on the practice, then when this happen, you're not going to recognize. And then it's only fourth stage. Fourth stage means only like four moment, short period of time. Then move on. What does move on mean? That your inner consciousness is gone. Then actually you died. But some practitioner can stay on that, on this, in this stage, fourth stage, it can stay a long time. It's called the meditation, after the death meditation, yeah? What call that? In Tibetan, we call that Tudamshu. Still on the meditation, some stay like many days. Which is one time in the Bhutan, one J. Kimball passed away, senior J. Kimball. When I was there in the summer, really hard. And of course, the Tibetan custom, ritual, we will burn lots of lamps around the body. And there are so many lamp offering in the room. But his body is not smell at all. Even after a month, he was in the meditation. So long as your inner breath remain there, your body not going to rotate. So that way they can stay in that state long time. But ordinary people, right after the few maybe half an hour, already start the routine. Body smell, yeah? Soon. And not going to stay that long because inner breath is the only short time they stay there. So, so this kind of, actually they said this kind of a practitioner, when is your death time is not the when you stop breathing. Actually, death time is when inner breath is stop. That is from there to you have to start your death time. So if you stay like 3 days, meditation, then your actually death is after the 3 days, legally up death. 3 days you died. Make sense? So people who have a receive, and some people, even you don't have a realization of the Mahamudra, but still through the Shamatha meditation, and they try to concentrate on the syllable like ah or things like that, still you can have chance to stay on that stage of the meditation without the realization of the nature of a mind. So this is that fourth stage with the sign of appearance increasing. Okay. Grant us to be great to recognizing these 4 stages. Okay, now this 4th stage is a detail here. Said all the inner sign of the appearance is resemble the smoke, and the outer sign resemble the moonlight. So there's a 2 kind of elements. Inner sign is talking about the kind of like a inner luminosity. Outer sign is talking about the physical luminosity, physically related to the out of the mind. So physically. So what does this means? Inner sign is like a resemble of the smoke, mean that like when it's smoky, foggy, you not see that clearly. Light or anything is not see clearly. So it's not really clear. The luminosity is not really clear. It's like smoky. Okay. Then outer sign, as I said, and the outer sign is a resemble the moonlight. Why is it resemble the moonlight? Is it because at that time break your crown chakra and throat chakra, and that white bindu at the crown chakra is melted down and coming down. So that white bindu is like a resemble of the moonlight. Okay, that is the outer luminosity. Then your mind is consciousness is it's not really that much clear. So it's like a smoking, not really clear, inner light, inner luminosity. And the outer sign as a resemble the moonlight. And the 33 state of the mind, steamy from the anger seas. So at this time, it's from the 4 different type of emptiness. It's called the empty. They call there's four type of emptiness. Yeah, it's called the empty because it's that time your gross conceptual thought are ceased. That way reach to the emptiness. And there's a 33 state of the mind of aggregate are ceased. So this, they said all those conceptual are not necessarily related to the anger, but it's kind of like they not necessarily anger, but it's related to the anger, conceptual thought of the 33. Not always aversion, but it's kind of related to the aversion. That way, all different type of 33 type of aversion are ceased. I think last time we may have this 33 type of lists. Yeah. I have only Tibetan. Sorry, I don't have the list in the English, so, but if I find it, I will share later on this 33. State of the mind streaming from the anger cease, okay? And the grain as the grace that we be upheld by lucidity and resolve the mindfulness. So what's first said lucidity. Lucidity means the luminosity of the realization of the Mahamudra is called the lucidity. And the resolve of the mindfulness. It's a resolve of the mindfulness is this appearance of a luminosity is a keeping that continue. I think that's what is mean the Mahamudra of the what called the resolute of the mindfulness. Now, second one is called the at the inner side of the increasing is a resembling of the firefly, and the outer side of resembling as a sun glow, and the 40 state of the mind stemming from the desire cease. So why is called the increasing? Because the now is a luminosity of the mind is increase. And also is become inner, is it become a resemble of the firefly. A firefly is not really bright, but still you can see, clearly. The firefly can see clearly, even it's not so bright. So that way, that increasing make the inner is become more brighter, become more brighter. The outer side resemble of the sun glowing. So why is a resemble a sun glowing? So then the bindu red in color, which is received from the mother, is at the sacred place. When your navel chakra is broke, then that bindu is a nature of the fire. Nature of fire is always come up. So reaching to the fire, the right bindu, from the sacred to the through the navel chakra to at your heart. So that is called like a sun. What called the outer sign is it like a sun glow, because it is a red color, the red bindu. And the other one is a moon color, is a white bindu. So white bindu is the nature of the water, so it come down when it break. And the fire it break is go up. Yeah. So that way these two come. One is coming from there's two bindu. One is coming from the crown chakra. One is coming from the sacred chakra. Come toward to the heart. So these two. And at that time, state of the mind stream is a 40 state of the mind stream for desire cease. And then related to the desire, there's a 40 different state of the mind stream is a cease. And in green as the grace to that we may keep the alert by vigilance and the mindfulness. So what this means is whatever appearance is a state, reach to the state of the Mahamudra. Then third one, in the inner sign of the attainment, resembling the glow of the butter lamp, the outer sign resemble the outer of the blackness or the eclipse. The seventh state of the mind streaming from the ignorant seas. Now, what happened is there's a called the here said is a eclipse. Eclipse is not talking about the moon eclipse. Eclipse is the name of the wind. Strength of the wind is like a dajing. Dajing is powerful. So strength of the wind. What happened is when this collapse, this then break the wind. When it break the wind, and this wind of the coming from the called the lung dajing. Dajing lung mean the Rahul, wind of Rahul. That Rahul wind as a broke from the and because this collapse and it cover whole those two bindu. Those two bindu mixed together, the wind which is the pressure in them, they broke and they cover whole. Those two bindu are completely covered by this wind. So that way outwardly it's become like dark because of that wind is completely covered, but inner is like the lame in the pot. When lame in the pot, only inside the pot is really bright. So innerly you have an attainment of the brightness of the luminosity, but outwardly because of that the wind element is blocking the covering all the is like become like shield, and how to say those two, because those white bindu, red bindu come toward to the heart. When they meet, they collapse,
Eclipse each other.
eclipse. Then when it eclipse, then break the wind that bringing them bindu. The wind is broke. Then when wind is broken, wind is cover whole the this bindu.
The inner continuum.
Yeah. So that way, as it said, the utter blackness of the eclipse. Then seventh state of the mind stemming from the ignorance it sees. So, and this, okay, sorry, I forgot one thing to say. When increasing time is called the emptiness, called the very empty. Why is it called a very empty? Is because mediocre conceptual of thought is a cease. That way, very empty. And this attainment time is called the tomba, shinto tomba. Great emptiness. Why it's called the great emptiness? Because now it's completely eliminated the conceptual of a dualistic of a what called the subject and object. So that way the great emptiness.
What was the third one?
The second one.
Empty of gross, empty of aggregates.
Empty of no. Second one is empty of a middly gross, middly conceptual.
Middling conceptual.
Yeah.
thought.
And third one is empty of grasping on the dualistic. Then grant us to be aware, upheld by the perfect mindfulness. What is the perfect mindfulness? Is called the Dharmakaya or Dhammadhatu. Dhammadhatu is the perfect mindfulness. At that time, then you stay in the state of the Dhammakaya. So that way it's called the perfect mindfulness. At the fourth stage, when the great clarity down, it is the inner sign resembling of the cloudless sky, and in the outer sign, it resembles of the daybreak. The grain as to be grace to be mother and child clarify merge. So this means now this fourth stage is called the great clarity down. Yeah, dawn. At that time, as a mind is become bliss, luminosity, and free from the any kind of a what called fabrication. So is this like a what called a clarity dawn? Clarity dawn, I say illuminating the clarity. Yeah, I think dawn is not good translation. I think illuminating the clarity is better. What is this illuminating of the clarity? Is like when somebody said, I saw the space, but cannot describe what is the space, how you can see the space. Space have no color, no shape, no form. Yeah. So similarly, illuminating the what called illuminating the clarity is the same that way. This means the seeing the nature of a mind or realization of the Mahamudra is the same that way. So that kind of a seeing. So that way, I think it said great seeing the great luminosity. I think better than great dawn, clarity dawn. I think luminosity, clarity of luminosity. Inner sign resemble the cloudless sky, and the outer sign resemble the daybreak. So in that time, and a very subtle, what called cognitive obscuration of the conceptual is a what called the eliminate. It's called the totally emptiness. So there's a four emptiness: empty, a very empty, great empty, and totally emptiness. In this four stage, increasing as a empty, appearance as a empty, increase as a great empty, attainment as a very or total, great empty, and attainment, what called clarity as a totally emptiness. So this, when you have this totally emptiness of the luminosity of the nature of mind, so that time you will recognizing it. When you recognizing it, is called the meeting mother and child clarity merge. So it's called the luminosity of the base is the mother, and luminosity of the path, what you experiencing through the instruction, is called the child. So whatever you learn in your practice, so at the time of the death, that luminosity appearance of the mother and those two are inseparable. So that way you recognize it. That is an example of a mother and a son union become together, oneness. Mother and child. But it's just like not two things become one. And so one is called the ground luminosity, which is the nature of the Mahamudra. And what is the path Mahamudra you practice? When you through your experience of the path Mahamudra, and at the time of the death, you have this appearance of the luminosity, which is recognizing, and those two are, inseparable, or those two are same things, you see, and you reach to the Dharmakaya state in there. So this is our main goal is this way. That way, I mentioned this many times. Our really is what we need to do is, we reach that state. So in this life, you receive teaching on the Laka Mahamudra, meditation on the Mahamudra, on the Kamabhati and the Vipassana. And through that too, that experience will help when this appearance at the time of the death, dissolution of the fourth stage, you will realize the Mahamudra. But if you never receive any instruction, if you never have experience of practicing anything, then even appearance, you're not going to recognize. as I said, if you cannot read the word, even somebody show you the syllable, you're not going to know what it is. So you have to learn how to read to recognize. So same way here, you have to learn how to read by receiving instruction and meditating on that. Then when the day when you come this one and you will die, you will recognize in that way. That way Milarepa said, death is a small Buddhahood for the yogi. Why yogi mean the practitioner? Yoga doesn't mean that it's just wearing the crazy clothes, some kind of like an irregular clothes. Maybe it shouldn't say crazy clothes, but irregular clothes. It not become a yogi. Yogi means the practitioner. Anyone, anyone who have a greatly practicing, especially on the union of the emptiness and compassion. That is what is a yogi mean. And then when you have a richness of the suchness experience, that is yogi. So in this life, if you have a richness of the experience of the suchness, at the time of the death, when it appearance, this fourth stage is happen, you will recognize it immediately. Then you can stay in that state.
Yeah, well, I'm curious. These 4 stages that are progressing while the inner breath is still with you, you are not yet in the bardo of existence, right?
No, not yet. Yeah, your conscious still with your body.
Right. Thank you.
You're not dead completely. Good news. Good news is you're still not dead. Good news is you're still not dead. Bad news is definitely you're going to die.
So the stage of blackout happens first, then the red out, then white out.
No, this is what called the inner sign and outer sign.
Okay.
Inner sign is a kind of like what kind of a stage of the luminosity. So
Okay.
first one is appearance is a inner sign is like cloudy, not clear. Luminosity not really clear. But then second stage called the appearance, inner sign is become like a firefly. Then the third stage called the attainment, inner sign is becoming like a lamb in the pot. Lamb in the pot. Then fourth stage is the inner sign is become like a day, bright like light, sunlight. The outer stage is different. Because the first one is called the a whitish color. Whitish color is resembling with a white bindu, which is traveling from the crown chakra to the heart, because that give you the whitish light. Second one is a reddish light because it's resembling with the red bindu, which is traveling from the secret to the heart.
Secret to the heart.
Yeah. And third one is because these two crash together, merging together, and that the wind that called the Rahul wind. Okay, Rahul wind is a kind of like a shield them completely. So that way outer is a total in darkness, break, because it's kind of that wind is blocking outer resembling, but inner is really bright. Then when you reach to the luminosity, clarity of the luminosity, then at that time, totally free all those, then you reach to the Mahamudra. And the outer is like a daylight, inner is a sunshine. Great. So this is the fourth stage. Only Vajrayana give teaching. So that way, this is lots of people saying, oh, just Sutra is enough. Sutra have everything. Sutra not give lots of things, not detail. In the Sutra, said only one moment between the death and in inner breath is a one moment, one stage or one moment in the, like if you read the Abhidhamma, Vasubandhus, only said one moment. But Vajrayana gave this fourth stage. In appearance, increasing attainment, and luminosity. So basically, it's in the Vajrayana, lots of things give more detail than and then Sudra. That's different.
And it very much coincides with our completion practices. The completion practices we do kind of progress us towards these 4 stages and the solutions.
Now, so when this grain, the grace of the mother and child clearly emerge, then it's called the supreme practitioner is called the reach to the state of the great kachu. How to say in the English kachu? Kachu is like a normally it's the name of the Pure Land of Vajrayogini, Kachu Gishin. But Kachu is this is a said 3 of them. One, as it become complete Buddha, Kachu Chenpo. It's a great Kachu. Kachara. So there's 3 different Kachara. One is a great reach to the Buddhahood. So greater celestial realm. Yeah, celestial.
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 Yeah, celestial. The Kachara means the celestial. So this is celestial means the reach to the Buddhahood of the Dharmakaya in this state. Now here's the bardo teachings. Poor teachings. If unable to remain the state of the consciousness in the transpire, they never enable the point between the eyebrow, fontanel, nose, ears, eyes, urethra, anus, and mouth. May this 9 door be closed. Grant us to be grace that only one remain open. So there's 9 passages. 9 passages are this 9. Okay. First one said navel. Second was a point between the eyebrows. Third one said fontanel.
Soft part of the,
Yeah, for a skull.
yeah.
Okay. And nose, ears, eyes. So fontanel is a, if you measurement from the eye, if you have hair, if you don't have hair, then you cannot measure. Normal people with the hair, if you measure 4 finger, then can find the fontanel. From there to again 4 finger, then you can the Brahmin crown. So this is different location. So that way, if you 9 of those, the passage, then you will reborn easier to reborn in the 6 ones. Okay, but if you if you learn how to close them, so in the poor practice, it practice as how to close them. So we will have a poor instruction. So at that time I will give teachings, but there's a way to meditate how to seat syllable, block all those doors close, basically. Some there said there's a 3 way to block them: seed syllable, meditation, samadhi, and substance. I don't know what kind of substance. I try to ask some of my teacher, they don't know also. So I really don't know. There's a 3 way to. So you can research and you can ask some people. If you find way, then maybe you share with me. So 3 different way. Ha, nga, ze, tingin sisum. Absorption or samadhi, syllable, and substance. Yeah, there's 3 different way to you can blockage all these 9 doors. But then there's one Vajar song from the Marba and the Naroba. It means that the block is the 8 doors. So Drupa Pema Kapo said, if the consciousness travel through directly to the central channel and outside of the crown chakra, you can born to the great celestial realm, yeah. But if that consciousness couldn't travel through the central channel and through different way and come out of the crown, then it not necessarily will born there. You can be born in the formless realm. So he said that is different sometime. So that way Naroba said 8 doors. And in this prayer said 9 doors. Basically it's the same talking about. Okay. So either way, if we went to this 9 doors, then what happened is it said remain the desire, form, non-form, Gambina, semi-human, human being, animal, hungry ghosts, and hell realms. From the if you passage from the from the navel, you will born to the desire realms. You know, desire realm. But if you passage from the third eye, you can born to the formless realms. Form realms. If you passage from the baby salt, and as you will born to the formless realm. And from the nostril, from the nostril, yeah. Navel point between eyebrow, nostril. Nose, from the nose. It's called it's here they call the goblins, goblins.
So Gandharvas essentially.
This is not Gandharvas. This goblin is in the 33 god realms. One side is called the goblin land. It's a particular, like even the Vajapani is there. Nujing Lanatoje. So there's one particular in the 33 god realms. It's a northern side of the Mount Meru, on the top of the Mount Meru. There's called the Changloche land. That base on there, that those beings is called this called the goblin or whatever. And the next one is semi-humans. It's a belong to the desire realm, God realm, but they have a particularly the kind of like a, you know, kind of like a knowledge holder. They call the Rinzindruba, knowledge holder, belong to the it's actually desire realms. And
Which,
Miyamji.
which opening?
Oh, that is open from the
Heart.
no eye. No, sorry. Ear. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nose and ears. Then whatever coming out from the mouth or from the eye, sorry, sir, is it born to the human? And you read as a animal, and urine as a hungry ghost. I mean the hell.
Which one?
Urine.
Urine is just like animal realm.
Yeah, ureta is the animal realm, and third one is called the anus.
Anus.
Yeah, anus. Anus is a
Hungry ghost.
hell,
Right.
and mouth and navel is a hungry ghost. May the door of the rebirth of the block it and toward to the pure land. So they said, if your conscious come out of the crown chakra, it's easier to reborn in the pure land. But if your consciousness come out from the different part of the body, and then you have a chance to reborn to the one of those 6 realms.
Okay.
So that way, when people die, best way is to don't touch their body. One thing is because wherever right now, wherever we touch, our feeling go there. Yeah, you feel immediately. That means that your conscious is go there, but cannot access right now. It's just like when fruit is not really ripe, even you touch is not come out. But when fruit is really ripe, you need to touch, small touch, it come out from, separate from the tree easily. So when our dying time is like a really, really ripe fruit, just need a small touch and conscious can come out from there easily. So that way, lots of times said, don't touch the body. And if you touch to the crown here. If you do some certain monastery, when you go to the poor, they give this what called flick on here.
Question number 2 says pull a hair.
Yeah, you can do the pull hair. If somebody have a hair. Good luck with me, that's what. So when people die, best way is don't touch it, the part of the body, because wherever you touch, they said easy to come out the conscious from there. And the grain asked the grade to be escorted by the Daga and Dagini. So this is talking about the escort to the celestial realm by Daga and Daginis at the Pure Land by invited by the Daga and Daginis. So even you cannot recognizing the great luminosity of the mind at this point when your conscious is ejecting from the body. If you carefully concentrate on the ground, and can be ejected from there. There. Now, if we cannot reach to the celestial realm of the Pure Land, then what happened is should consciousness to be wandering in the bardo. We are unaware of our own death when our relative and our friend lack of disappointing cause us to be despair. Grant us to be grace to cut all the bound of attachment and aversion. So at the time of the death, there's a 3.5 day. They say is not necessarily you have a totally aware of. The first day is totally kind of like a blackout. And the second day become like a totally drunk. And third day is like sick one, really weak. Then fourth day slowly recover from there. As it become like a to become more aware. And during that time, especially second day, third day, and you may try to talk to your family, friend, and they not respond you. At that time, you don't have aware of your death. And when they're not responding you feel like they're neglecting or ignoring you, and you get angry. So you can have when you see the loved one, you can have an attachment. And when they not respond to you, you can have an aversion. And during that time, if your loved ones cry and when you recognize your death and your loved ones cry, you're sad. Sometimes it can cause you to stay in that we call the spirit realm, long period of time. So that way, best way is when somebody died, when you die, best way is to do prayer. Don't cry. I mean, some culture is a necessity to have to cry. Some culture, but I don't know. It's really healthy to do that one.
Muslims will be disappointed.
Yeah, I
They
know.
give out prizes for the
Yeah.
loudest cry.
Yeah.
They invite the person who cries the loudest to more funerals. They invite them to more dying events. And then you know, cry. Yeah. Okay.
And what kind of a body in the intermediate states is endowed with a complete faculty with a miracle's power? This is a complete faculty. It's not physical faculty like us, but it's called the mind faculty, mentally body. In the dream, we have a physical particular body, similar like that. It's not the element body. It's so-called the mind body. So because of that body continuing, that way we can reborn in the next one. Otherwise, if you don't have that mentally body, cannot rebirth in the next one. So this is continuing one mentally body, but that body is also have a miracle power. That miracle power is not through the accomplishing, miracle power through the accomplishing and through the karmically. In the bardo, they have a karmically miracle power. What kind of miracle powers? They can fly and they can know what other think, what other people thinking about. They can read their others' mind. So this, and there's called a 6 signs of the being bardo. It means the you don't have a body, have no shadow, one. And body is not what called obstruct by the wall or rock or anything, can go anywhere. And from the short period of time, you can reach anywhere you want. Because at that time, wherever mind go, body get there immediately. Like right now, we can think about the Washington, D.C., but our body is still here. So when they never reach there, because this gross body holding mind back. You know, at that time, but in the bardo, if you think of Washington, D.C., immediately in the D.C. If you think about the Asia, immediately in Asia. Whatever you think, so that way, so that is second science. And third one is whatever we do, other cannot see. And the fourth one is whatever other thing we bardo being can understand. And fifth one, they don't have a sun and moon. And not just only they have not have a sun and moon, and called the co-emerged God. Co-emerged God is born with us. It will stay with us for the rest of our life and show up. If we did good deed, they show up the white color, what called the stone, a number of stone. If we did bad things, they show the black color stone and the measure which did more. And sixth one, even you see the food and drink, unless somebody dedicated for you, you cannot enjoy them. So this is called the sixth sign of a bardo. Then what is the difference of the bardo from the other beings, other realms? If you're going to be born in the higher realm, your clothes is appearing more like white cloth. If you're going to be reborn in the lower realm, you have a more like a black color cloth. And of course, a name different of the name is called the intermediate state. And the different of the lifespans is 1 week. After 1 week, if you cannot rebirth, and called the small death. Small death is not really dying, but it's kind of like what call this? Gelwa. Gelwa mean that.
Small spiritual deaths?
No, this is like kind of like forget everything.
Forget.
Gelwa. Yes. And it's different of the karma, is it? Even in the bardo state, if you have a strong virtuous thought, even you created the karma to reborn in the lower realm, it can change the direction. Even you created whole life practice the dharma, in the media state, if you have a strong negative emotion, it can cause you to reborn in the lower realm. So whatever mind build, it become that way.
So the bardo state is still able to experience this world?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see, but it's really like a funny way, you know, they cannot see as everything, so whatever. It's the same as a dreaming, actually, kind of like a one-way dreaming. You know? And different of the seeing is only can see, like I heard this, like a human bardo, human can see. The God realm's bardo, only God realm can see, like similar one. But if you have a bardo being, you have a clairvoyant, then you can see everyone. And different of the shape. At the earlier bardo, if you're going to stay 1 week, okay, 1 week, 4 days, most of your thought, and 3.5 days, I'm sorry, 3.5 days, most of your thought, most of your appearance is more related to the past life. But then after the 3 days, then more become a more next one. Appearance and attitude, everything is a kind of more related to the next one. Because you're already forgetting past one. So you become more and more familiar where you're going to reborn. So that way, as a so half of the bardo is a more become like similar with the past one. Half of the bardo is a more become a next one. And they have all the faculty, sense faculties. So that way they can go to anywhere, but only they cannot go to here said those few places. Sorry, I need to change here. This one. It said, endowed with a complete faculty with the miracles power, we can go anywhere without the hindrance except the Mount Meru, Vajra throne, or the Bodhgaya, and the mother's womb. Why? Because these three are great. Mount Meru is the essence of the earth, so it's not easy to go through. But then some argument saying is that's not true. Can go bardo conscious through the Mount Meru because of the center of the Mount Meru. Some spirit, some live there. Some call the those what called human or Miamchi, human or what, half human or whatever this earlier mentioned. They live in the center of the Mount Meru. So that way Mount Meru have to travel through the Mount Meru to reach to that land. So some argument saying is Mount Meru is not necessarily as as a Mount Meru able to can go through, but some teachings said Mount Meru is unable to bardo conscious go through because Mount Meru is the essence of the earth, essence of the earth, essence of the earth.
This round,
Yeah,
essence of this round.
yeah, essence of this realm. And the Vajra throne in the Bodhgaya, between the Bodhi tree and the Bodhgaya temple, there's a throne. And so because this is the essence of the quantum of the blessings, higher blessings, the bardo consciousness cannot go through that one. Their mother's womb, because the mother's womb, bardo consciousness only can go to the mother's womb as if the mother and a being, the conscious, have a karmically connection. Otherwise, they cannot find the karmic, the womb. So they have to find the womb that is really karmically connected. So that way, every mother's womb cannot reach the bardo conscious. They have to have a karmically. So because of the karma, cannot go through the mother's womb. So these three, one is because of the essence of the earth. One is essence, the really essence of the spiritually and blessings, and third one is because of the karmic greatness of the karma. So that reason these three bardo being cannot go through these three. Other than these three, anywhere without the hindrance they can travel bardo beings. Understand that everything's illusory. So that why we can go through the wall, why we can go through the tree, why we can go through those all objects without the hindrance, because actually reality of all phenomena are illusion. This is a solidness we created from our mentally. We believe through the belief to and created this, grasping to created this solidness. That way seems like they are real, but it's not real. So, and said also other sign is that when sun and moon cease to exist, our body sees no shadow. So they don't, bardo, they don't have a sun and moon. Why? Sun and moon is related to our inner elements. Right now, our body have an inner element of the red bindu and a white bindu, which is received from our father and mother. Because of that, we see a sun and moon. When those two are lacking, then the bardo being, they don't have those two. So that way, they don't see the sun and moon. That is you know, I think this is amazing. This one is because I heard this one. Some people cannot see certain color because of liking something inside. That way they cannot see that color. Make sense? Same thing as a bardo being, they like after those two bindu, red and white bindu. That way they don't see the sun and moon. So this is a show in the Vajrayana, inner element and the outer element have a really deep connection. So why we see the sun and moon? Because we have these two bindu, white bindu, which is received from the father, red bindu, which is received from the mother. That way we see this sun and moon. Bardo, they don't have that one. So that way they don't have a sun and moon. And since they don't have a physical body, they don't have the shadow. And more though unable to travel throughout the billion worlds. It's even the three 3 billion universe can travel, you know. So this is a sign. All the sense faculty, 1, have a miracle power, 2, and except the Mount Meru and Vajra throne and mother's womb can travel everywhere, 3, and they don't have a sun and moon, 4, and they don't have a shadow, 5, and they can travel through the billion world anytime they're wishing. 6, this 6th sign. It's called the 6th sign of being bardo. When we're swept helplessly along like the feather in the wind. So at that time, your body have no power, your mind have no power to, to stop that one. Whatever, especially body can get to the coming wind, can blow you wherever, coming wind directions. Grant us the grace to be made master our mind. It's not just only master our mind, master our body and mind. That means the bardo, we don't have this power of, our body and mind's control. Oh, already 11:26.
Yeah. So when you're swept helplessly along like a feather in the wind.
Yeah. So because coming wind
Yeah,
flow, yeah.
just whatever you think
So
or just-
yeah, just get there. If you feel like, oh, this is a nice place, and suddenly sweep somewhere else. Yeah. So this one is because the lack of our control of the body. Why lack of the control of the body, bardo? Is because the bardo body is really light. Whatever mind think, body get there. So how to can master over the mind mean that when your mind is over your control, you can control your body. Like our body right now have no control. Actually, our element control us. Why? Because our mind is out of control. If we cannot master our mind, we cannot master our body. Then enlightened beings, they can control the body whatever they want. You know, so for them, it's no problem to controlling their body. Why? Because they can control their mind. Right now, we may think, oh, I'm independent. I have a you know, what power to can do whatever I want. Actually, we don't have any power. Element control us. Even we don't wish it to be sick, we get sick. Even we don't wish it to be cold, we feel cold. Even we don't wish it to be hot, we feel hot. Those all things happen without your desire because the element create that way. Why we cannot control our element? Because we cannot control our mind. So if we want to be controlled in the bardo, you have to learn that control in this when you were alive, how to control your mind. So that way we say in meditate on the being mindfulness. In the Buddhism, mindfulness is a really important part of the meditation. Be mindfulness. So it's mindfulness help us to how to balance our mind, how to control the mind, basically. So then one day when we have a fully control of our mind, then as the mind is become really flexible. It's called the Xinjiang. Then so then you can stay mind on the state of the Mahamudra or state of the whatever you want. You can stay long as you want. Right now, we want to meditate on the emptiness, but then our minds go to somewhere else. You know, immediately trouble. Because we cannot control that. It's like a spoiled child, out of control. So this is not only praying in the bardo, I can control my mind. Now we need to train, I mean, slowly. Don't let do mind whatever they want. If you do, let do the mind, whatever the mind want, mind will make you all those crazy things. At some point, you need a little bit control from the mind. Make sense? Then in the bardo, so the prayer work. So this one is a prayer. It's not just saying, it's oh, my guru make me control this all my mind. You have to, guru what can do for the control your mind. So guru can give you the instruction. But who can control you or not control is up to your practice. Make sense? So prayer alone doesn't work. I mean, prayer is a necessity. I'm not saying it's a prayer not work, but prayer alone cannot work. Yeah. So that way, how to control the mind is, I think we have to have control our body. I mean, how to control that. Someone say we have to have control the mind through the mindfulness. Okay, that much I think today. And if you not get bored, I will see you tomorrow. If you're bored, then thank you coming today.
Short, long, in between.
In between.
In between. Okay, let's then do this. Let's do glorious holy, page 30. Glorious, holy, venerable,
Precious, kind, rooted lineage guru, ensemble of some Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis. Please hear my prayer. May the root will go to play in the 3 times by myself, all being in the samsara and nirvana, by innate root of virtue, may all the 8 worldly concern. For the cause of samsara and rebirth on the Sharvaka and Pratikya Buddhas. May the sentient beings, limitless mothers, abstract for harm me, misleading minds, demons, saving the feminists, unsurpassable, complete, and precious enlightenment. When the power of this vast root of virtue, may I attend all beings, speech and mind. May the desire, ignorance, see, no rise in my mind.
May
And the
it
time,
not
the
entertain
time, the pain,
reputations dwell on and concerns
this,
of God, not
no
arise
rise
for
in
evil.
my
May
mind remain loving, kindness, compassion, and Bodhicitta. And through that, I become the spiritual master of the equal to quality, equal to infinity of the space. May I gain the supreme attainment, the Mahamudra in this very life. May the trauma of the suffering not rise even in my time of death. May I not die with a negative thought. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience untimely death. May I die joyfully, happily, luminosity, the mind of such and perfecting clarity of the Dhamma. May I in any case gain the supreme attainment of the Mahamudra at the time of the death or in the bardo. By the virtue collecting the 3 times by myself, all being in the samsara and nirvana. By the virtue being quickly attained, unsurpassable, complete precious. May the teaching of the great Jigumba Ranashiri, Permission Lord of Mother, Master of the Independence, continue increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Temple, I'm gonna sit down with you one day. and
Thank you, Kempola.
Thank you, everyone.
Gracias.
Thank you, everyone.
Gracias, Kempola.
Gracias, gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, Kempola.
Thank you very much, Kempola.
Thank you all your help and especially the
Thank you so
conflict.
much, Kempola.
You're welcome.
Gracias, Kempo.
Okay, have a good day.
Gracias.
If you want, you come tomorrow.